The series finale of Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, doesn't rely on explosive gunfights or shocking betrayals alone to leave its mark. Instead, Episode 8, Unconditional Love, delivers one of the franchise's most emotionally devastating endings by forcing every major character to confront the consequences of the choices they've made over 5 seasons. It's a finale built around grief, truth, and impossible decisions, proving that in the Power universe, family can be both the greatest source of strength and the deepest wound. The episode opens under a heavy cloud of mourning. Every surviving character is carrying emotional scars that cannot simply be erased. Rack has lost nearly everything she spent years building. Marvin is gone. The organization she fought so hard to control is collapsing around her, and for perhaps the first time, the legendary Queenpin looks genuinely exhausted. Her confidence remains, but beneath it is a woman realizing that every sacrifice she made has only isolated her further. Meanwhile, Jukebox is drowning in grief after Marvin's death. Unlike other characters who channel pain into business or revenge immediately, Jukebox first searches for answers. Marvin's final letter leads her to Flossy, and what she discovers completely reshapes her understanding of her own family. Learning that Kanan was responsible for Marvin's death destroys the remaining trust she still held for her cousin. This revelation creates one of the strongest emotional confrontations of the entire series. When Jukebox finally faces Kanan, viewers expecting an emotional breakdown instead witness something much colder. She doesn't scream. She doesn't immediately reach for a weapon. Instead, she delivers words that hurt far more than bullets. She tells Kanan that simply killing him would be too easy. She wants him to live with unbearable pain. She wants every day of his life to remind him of what he has done. That moment perfectly captures Jukebox's evolution throughout the series. The innocent teenager introduced years ago has completely disappeared. Standing before Kanan is someone whose emotional wounds have transformed into controlled cruelty, making her resemble the hardened version of Jukebox fans already knew from the original Power. Ironically, just as Kanan loses one of the last people who truly mattered to him, life delivers another unexpected twist. Jarita reveals that she is pregnant. The news changes everything. Throughout the series, Kanan has constantly searched for identity while trying to escape the shadow of his mother. Now, he faces the reality of becoming a father himself. The timing couldn't be more painful. Instead of celebrating new life, Kanan realizes he may repeat the same cycle of violence, manipulation, and emotional distance that defined his own childhood. Fatherhood suddenly becomes more frightening than any enemy on the streets. At the same time, another battle unfolds behind closed doors. Rack and her attorney meet with federal prosecutors to negotiate what appears to be an extraordinary plea agreement. The deal is carefully structured to provide complete immunity, not only for Rack, but also for Kanan. On the surface, this appears to be the greatest act of maternal love Rack has ever shown. After years of manipulating her son, she is finally attempting to protect his future. Yet the situation is far more complicated. Within the world of Power, nobody trusts easy deals, especially when the federal government is involved. The negotiation raises immediate questions. Is Rack genuinely sacrificing herself to save Kanan, or is she once again trying to control the narrative? Has she finally learned what unconditional love means? Or is this simply another calculated move designed to keep power over her son until the very end? Those questions linger throughout the episode because neither Rack nor Kanan can fully believe the other anymore. Their final conversation becomes one of the emotional highlights of the finale. Years of lies, betrayals, manipulation, and disappointment stand between them. Yet despite everything, they share one final understanding. Neither will betray the other. Neither will become an informant. For all the damage their relationship has suffered, both refuse to cross the line that would completely destroy what little family remains. It's an incredibly bittersweet moment because it reveals that loyalty still exists beneath all the anger, but it arrives far too late to repair their broken bond. While emotions dominate much of the finale, the criminal world continues moving forward without hesitation. Breeze informs Kanan that the Pill Boys have been handled, eliminating one more obstacle in their expanding operation. However, the larger mission remains unchanged. Stefano's orders are crystal clear. Rack must die. This command places Kanan in the most impossible position of his life. For seasons, Kanan struggled to free himself from his mother's influence. Now he has finally built relationships with people powerful enough to shape his future independently. But those same alliances demand the ultimate proof of loyalty. Killing Rack isn't simply another assignment. It is a symbolic act announcing that Kanan has completely abandoned his past. Breeze understands exactly what this decision represents. Rather than forcing Kanan immediately, Breeze subtly pressures him, allowing the weight of responsibility to settle. It's psychological manipulation at its finest because Kanan begins convincing himself that eliminating Rack may actually be necessary. Then comes perhaps the cruelest emotional blow of the entire finale. Jukebox tells Kanan that Rack never truly loved him. She even suggests that Rack was willing to sacrifice him if it meant saving herself. Whether every word is completely true almost becomes irrelevant. What matters is that Jukebox knows precisely which emotional wounds to attack. She strips away the final layer of hope Kanan still carried regarding his mother. If Kanan had any remaining belief that their relationship could eventually heal, Jukebox destroys it in seconds. Her words become the catalyst for everything that follows. Desperate for answers, Kanan makes one final journey to Rack's house. This isn't simply another confrontation. It's a son searching for truth before making the biggest decision of his life. Every conversation throughout the episode has been leading to this moment. The pregnancy, the federal immunity deal, Breeze's pressure, Jukebox's accusations, and Rack's own grief all converge into one heartbreaking conclusion. The finale reminds viewers that violence was never the true tragedy of raising Kanan. The real tragedy has always been the destruction of family. Unconditional love ultimately asks whether unconditional love can survive endless betrayal. For Rack, love always meant protection, even if that protection required manipulation and lies. For Kanan, love became inseparable from control and deception. For Jukebox, love transformed into grief and revenge. Each character believes they understand what family means,